Our world is getting hotter, and our cities are getting more crowded. We're running out of space, and frankly, we're running out of options. The very way we built our civilization for centuries is being threatened by a planet that we've pushed to its limits. We've tried patching up the old world, fixing the systems as they break down. But what if the answer isn't to fix? What if the next great chapter of human history isn't written where we expect, but in the most impossible places on Earth? Imagine a world where our deadliest deserts become home to the most advanced cities ever conceived. In a future where water is more valuable than gold, these cities won't just survive, they'll thrive. This is the story of how, by the year 2100, we just might build new civilizations in the heart of the desert. For all of history, we built our lives around coastlines and fertile river valleys. Our cities are defined by access to water and mild climates. But that entire paradigm is starting to crumble. Rising sea levels are threatening to swallow coastal megacities, while blistering heat and desertification are making once livable areas uninhabitable. By 2100, the global population is expected to peak at around 10.3 billion people, and a lot of that growth is in the very regions becoming the most dry and water scarce. Our current model of urban sprawl just isn't sustainable. Cities already consume the majority of the world's energy and account for roughly 70% of global CO2 emissions. They are concrete heat islands, stretching for miles and demanding more and more resources from a planet that's running low. We're living in a system that was designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore. The challenge ahead isn't just about finding more space. It's about completely rethinking what a city even is. It's a challenge that's forcing us to look at the most hostile environments on the planet: the vast, sun-scorched deserts and, see, not a problem, but a canvas. A place to start fresh, but how do you actually build a thriving metropolis in the middle of nowhere? How do you support millions of people where nature itself seems dead set against you? The answer might lie in a concept that blurs the line between science fiction and reality: the desert megacity. These aren't just cities, they're designed to be self-contained ecosystems. The technical term is arcology, a fusion of architecture and ecology. The idea is to build them from the ground up to be autarkic, meaning they produce their own energy, create their own water, and recycle nearly everything in a closed loop. And this isn't just some far-off fantasy. The seeds are being planted right now. Take a look at Saudi Arabia's NEOM project. At its core is the Line, one of the most audacious urban projects in history. The vision is for a 170-kilometer-long city, 500 meters high, all encased in a mirrored shell to reflect the desert. The plan is to house up to 9 million people on a tiny footprint of just 34 square kilometers. By building vertically, they plan to preserve 95% of the surrounding land for nature. Now, it's important to be realistic. The project's massive ambition has met some harsh realities. The original timeline has been scaled back, and the initial phase is much smaller, focusing on a more manageable 2.4-kilometer stretch. But even so, recent photos from late 2025 show that construction is very real, with massive excavation and foundation work underway. The vision for the Line is a life with no cars, no roads, and zero emissions. Everything you need is supposed to be within a 5-minute walk, and a high-speed rail will connect the whole city in just 20 minutes. But for any desert city, the biggest hurdle is water. The market for atmospheric water generators, or AWGs, is projected to more than double by 2035, reaching over $6.5 billion. These aren't just gadgets, they're industrial-scale machines that pull moisture right out of the air. New innovations are using biomimicry, creating materials inspired by desert beetles and cacti that can harvest water even in low humidity. Future cities could be covered in these materials, their walls literally drinking from the air, powered by integrated solar panels. Combine that with advanced desalination and closed-loop recycling systems that could cut water use by as much as 80%, and water independence starts to look like a real possibility. Energy, ironically, will be the easy part. Endless sun means endless power from vast solar arrays and photovoltaic materials woven into the buildings themselves. In fact, one of the world's largest green hydrogen plants is already under construction at NEOM to help power the city and its industries. And what runs it all? A city-wide AI. This AI would be the central nervous system, managing the power grid, optimizing water flow, controlling autonomous transport, and even predicting when a pipe is about to fail. This isn't just about being efficient, it's about creating a city that's alive and can adapt in real time. This new frontier isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Different blueprints for the future are already emerging. In the American desert, there's a proposed project called Telosa, designed by the architectural firm BIG, first announced in 2021. Its vision is less about pure tech and more about society. The plan is to build a sustainable city for 5 million people. Telosa is built on an idea called equitism. The land is owned by a community trust, so as the city grows and property values rise, the profits are reinvested back into public services like healthcare, education, and housing. The master plan features eco-friendly architecture and a landmark equitism tower designed to hold aeroponic farms and water storage. While the goal was for the first residents to move in by 2030, the project is still in the conceptual and fundraising stage as of late 2025. Then you have Arcosanti, an experimental town in Arizona. Founded way back in 1970 by architect Paolo Soleri, Arcosanti was the world's first real attempt at an arcology. For over 50 years, it's been a living laboratory, exploring how dense, compact design can build community and reduce our environmental footprint. Its buildings might look a bit retro today, but its mission has never been more relevant, inspiring a new generation of planners. Arcosanti is a powerful reminder that the future of cities isn't just about hyper-technology, but about rethinking how we live with the environment and with each other. These projects, from the sci-fi spectacle of The Line to the community focus of Telosa to the ecological principles of Arcosanti, show the range of what's possible. They are the test sites for what could be the greatest migration in human history, our move into the deserts. These projects force us to ask some pretty big questions about the future we want to create. They are unbelievably ambitious, and a lot of people are skeptical they'll ever be finished. If you want to keep following the story of these incredible desert cities and other mega projects changing our world, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. The promise of these desert megacities is a utopian one, a clean, efficient, sustainable future where humanity finally lives in balance with nature. Imagine a world with no traffic, no pollution, where your health is the top priority. A place where incredible technology frees us up to have more time for creativity, fun, and connection. But behind that shiny vision, there are some serious challenges and pretty unsettling questions. The cost, for one, is astronomical. Original estimates for NEOM were around $500 billion, but recent reports suggest the true cost could balloon to several $1 trillion over decades. This raises a huge question. Will these be inclusive communities for everyone, or just exclusive playgrounds for the super rich? Then there's the issue of control. A city run by a central AI could make life seamless, but it also opens the door to a level of surveillance we've never seen before. Who owns your data? Who writes the algorithms that run your life? In a city where every step you take and every watt of energy you use is monitored, what happens to personal freedom? And even with the best intentions, the environmental impact is a real concern. You can't build a 170-kilometer-long structure through a desert ecosystem, no matter how carefully, without consequences. The sheer amount of concrete, steel, and advanced materials needed for construction carries a massive carbon footprint. These aren't just cities, they are social and political experiments on a scale we've never witnessed. Their success could give us a blueprint for a resilient new civilization. But their failure could leave behind cautionary tales gleaming, empty monuments to human ambition, modern ghost towns in the sand. By the year 2100, the map of human civilization could be radically redrawn. The most valuable real estate might no longer be a New York penthouse or a Mediterranean villa, but a home inside a self-sustaining city in the Sahara. These desert megacities represent one of the most profound turning points in our history, a bold declaration that we won't retreat from a changing planet, but will meet its challenges with radical audacity. This is humanity's biggest gamble, a bet that we can literally build our way out of a crisis and engineer a new kind of civilization from scratch. But as we design these perfect, efficient, sustainable worlds, we have to ask ourselves, what will it actually mean to be human inside them? Would you live in a city like this, a perfectly managed paradise in the desert? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.